Nice moves. Hello, TV land. This is the Screensavers, and I'm Kevin Pereira.
And I'm Sheila Liu.
Yes, and Kevin and Sarah are here, of course. Dr. Rose is in the lab. He's working on something special today.
Yes, well, you know it's always very important to back up your data, but not only that, it's important to kind of keep it hidden in case someone breaks into your house or you have something like that happen. And I have a bunch of different items today, practical items like shoes and cans, all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm going to show you how to hide your data inside of them.
Very cool. You can also hide
look
it
at
South
that.
Park style, like last night's episode, no?
I didn't see. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible with the, yeah.
Pineapple shortage at Albertsons this morning,
If you saw
actually.
South Park, ugh, man,
Oh, it
hardcore.
was a pretty good episode myself.
Well, looks like we're going to get crazy with the bike tricks with BMX legend Matt Hoffman in a little while.
Yes, and I'm also going to point you in the direction of an interesting art project that might be taking place in your own backyard. You might not even know it.
Ooh, and you're bummed that your short film masterpiece ain't going to make it into Sundance this year?
I am.
Again? Well, we've got the next best thing, a cell phone film festival. Okay, so it's not really the next best thing, but you get it, right?
That's right. It's no Sundance, but hey, you know, why not?
I know, right. And today's the Land Party Thursday. We'll be playing Joint Ops Escalation with some special guests who we will introduce in just a little bit.
Right, and you know what we love doing on the show, Chilon?
What do we love doing
We just
so much?
love taking live phone calls.
Ooh, that's
Yes,
a party.
and that's why Casey is over in the Nook, ready to take your live calls. Oh, he's a handsome devil. Mom
I
is
love
so
the way
proud.
he waves.
He's
Wave,
so
Casey,
handsome.
wave.
Give us a call. The number is 1-800-839-7880, and you can email us through our web form at g4techtv.com/asktss, and you can chat with us in our brand spanking new IRC chat room. Just point your web browser to chat.g4techtv.com. It's that easy. There is no excuse.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
So many options. Contact us any way you can. But first, something really cool came up today that you should definitely know about. The virtual band Gorillaz, one of my favorites, fronted by Blur's Damon Albarn and Dan the Automator Nakamura, is actually looking for a new member, and it could be you. They're asking people from all creative fields to send in their best anything, from animations to music to videos. The Search for a Star contest is billing itself as the world's first online talent competition.
There it is.
And the winner will get to collaborate with these awesome, awesome people with a virtual band in, quote, the way they see fit.
Yep, that's it. And literally anything, whatever you want. You can send in a stick figure, you can send in a flash animation, a movie, a piece of music, whatever you do that's creative, send it to them and they'll judge it.
A garbage bag, if you paint something on it, maybe just write your initials, maybe that's some ready-made art that you've made, send it on in. You need to be a part of Gorillaz. They're one of the best bands that have ever come out.
Definitely. And today on DeviantArt, actually someone sent me this link this morning. It's a cute little app called Pixel My Ride, and it's definitely pointless, but it's fun for a good 5-10 seconds. You can go and click on different options and turn on wings and spoilers and all those other ricey good things. No racing stripes.
Good things.
No racing stripes though. And
looks like a party.
It got me thinking, like, if someone's going to send this to me and say, "Hey, Kevin, check out this cool little application, blah blah blah, mod a car," I want to say, "Hey, that's like 5 years ago." There's tons of apps that do this stuff. Here's a couple from Newgrounds, actually. Different flash apps. You can change your paint job, give the car a body kit, do signals, headlights, etc. This one really caught me by surprise. Drag and drop girls.
Whoa!
Look at that, Rose. Strap her to the hood like a mattress, right there. Boom. You just position her wherever you want.
I'm gonna have
there's
to
the
excuse
cowboy.
myself from the show for that comment.
There's the
Thank you very
cowboy.
much.
Well, no, it's just it's very cool. And this one's my personal favorite. Pimp My Warthog. It's like a do-it-yourself thing. You can choose your own neon glow.
Just
different
hours of fun ahead
headlights,
of you.
decals, whatever you want. Different turrets. I don't know what that is there, actually. But there you go. Bunch of different apps. If you want links, head on over to newgrounds.com, or you can get them from our show notes.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, Kevin.
Yeah.
And one last thing on the front, Electronic Arts CFO Warren Jensen recently addressed investors in Boston and let loose a couple of potential screenshots of next-gen games.
Yeah.
So these are so great. I mean, they're so exact. It's amazing, with both incredibly detailed Madden moment and a nearly lifelike shot of Need for Speed Underground. It's obvious we're really in for some amazing games.
I don't know. I think we're in for some cool shots that someone came up with to sell the concept of a next generation game. But I'm looking at these things and I don't know.
Do you think it's ever going to stop people since it's so realistic? They're just not ever going to leave their house anymore?
Yeah, it's impossible to emulate reality. You know, Molyneux's been trying it for years, and graphically we'll probably get really close.
We're going to get really close.
And I'm looking at these screenshots now.
Look at this picture, though. This is phenomenal.
But here's the thing with gaming in general is that console games are generally tend to be behind PC games on the technology curve. There's a new console that comes out, and it's very good. So I'm looking at the PC games that we have today, the Half-Life 2s and whatnots, and they're not at this level at all. So seeing this in motion would really impress me, really surprise me. I doubt we're going to see it on next-gen consoles. But it's cool to dream, right? Dare to dream, something like that.
I'm hoping to have 5 dreams today.
5 of them, yes. Sam Brown was awesome. Today is Thursday, though. It was yesterday. Today is Thursday, and that means it's time for the Screensavers LAN Party powered by NVIDIA. We're going to check in with Sarah, who's over at the LAN Party. Miss Lane?
That's right. Today we're playing Joint Ops Escalation, the new expansion pack for Typhoon Rising that adds even more weapons and vehicles to the already epic battlefields of Indonesia. Our Rackspace servers are fired up and ready to go. Today we have some brand new players. On my right, these are the stars from the independent World War II film Saints and Soldiers. I've got Corbin Allred. Hey Corbin. Hello. How's it going? And Peter Holden.
Yeah.
On the other side of Peter, we've got Larry Bagby. And down on the end, we've got the producer of Joint Ops, Joel Tauble. So these guys are good. We've got a good feeling about this. Wish you guys all the best of luck. We're going to see you all a little bit later in the show. But on this show, we got lots more to come, folks. Kevin Rose is going to show you the latest ways to hide important data inside everyday objects. And when we come back, no Hannah 360s or all in a day's work from Matt Hoffman. Sheila endured some hardcore BMXing to learn some of his tricks. That's next, so stick around.
Nice now.
You know, I never really thought that riding a bike with like a full-face helmet was the mark of cool. The legendary BMX biker Matt Hoffman showed me different. Check it out. 10-time world vert champion Matt Hoffman has been pushing the limits of freestyle riding for over 20 years. With 2 video game titles under his belt and his own line of pro bikes, he's gone bigger, slammed harder, and given more to the sport than anyone else. This is the backyard of a suburban home in Los Angeles. It's a complete freestyle BMX bike park.
Well, BMX biking is bicycle motocross is what it abbreviations for, and that's kind of a spin-off of motorcycle motocross. So then people started riding around dirt tracks and stuff with their bikes, and around the same time they're doing that in California, they're also surfing, kind of evolved into skateboarding or sidewalk surfing, and then Bob Haro was a skater and also a biker, and he started kind of adapting his bikes to the skate parks. You had like West Coast, you had surfing, BMX scene coming in, and then they had the punk rock scene from the East Coast and kind of met me all in Oklahoma, and then it just ended up delivering me what I was going to do with the rest of my life.
When you're riding, I know that you do like a lot of crazy stunts and tricks. Is there anything that really scares you, that kind of intimidates you when you're riding?
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of that's part of the game. It's more mental than it is physical. I guess I do like to flirt with danger a little bit, you know, and just kind of to scare myself, you know, because it wakes all your senses up and you really feel alive whenever you do something that's just you think's impossible before you try it. I rode my bike out of the back of a plane at 14,000 feet earlier this year and just flew around. I love to be in the sky, you know. I love to fly as much as I can.
What is the scariest stunt that you've ever done, you've ever accomplished?
Scariest stunt, a no-handed 900 I did a couple years ago. You go up a vert ramp like this back here and you spin 2.5 times around without your hands, and then you land, and it's just one of those tricks that are just really unforgiving. It's like either you pull it off and you're excited, or you're on a flat bottom and someone's trying to wake you up and ask you, what's your name? Do you know what town you're in? You know, like
wow.
When you're in a sport that's as risky as this, you know, to where you're on the couch a lot healing from the last injury, you know, you can kind of virtually experience riding on the TV, you know, in just session.
Is it ever creepy to be playing your game and it's like you in that game?
Yeah, it's funny. My daughter, she's almost 4 now, and I'll be playing, I'll crash, you know, and some blood will come out of my head, and she's like, Daddy, no, you can't hurt Daddy. You know, like I kind of get it from her perspective, you know, but yeah, it's kind of strange, you know, playing with yourself. Oh, wait, did I say that? Yeah, I think I did.
In your own special way.
Yeah, I love to play with myself.
And with that nugget of wisdom, Matt hands me his bike.
Okay, that's probably good.
Too hot?
Okay, yeah. I'm going to stop you now because I've knocked myself unconscious 100 times at least, and I've been at coma. I mean, it's gravity. You can't really negotiate with it. So when you mess up, it's basically you gotta take it. You know, I mean, that's a testament to how wonderful this sport is. I mean, the pleasure justifies the pain. You know, so that's what I love to do.
Wow, if you think it's impressive to watch it on your television, you should see it in person. It's phenomenal. Well, you know what? Matt also has his own line of bikes that you can get if you're a hardcore BMXer or you're just a wannabe. So check out HoffmanBikes.com. Now I'm going to send things over to Kevin, who's in our LAN party. Kevin?
Thank you very much, Chi-Lan. We have got a 150-player game going on here, thanks to Novologic's Joint Operations. Now, playing in our LAN party today is the producer of Joint Ops, Joel Tobble. Joel, tell me, how's the game going so far today?
It's going pretty well.
I see your corpse there as the camera pans around.
I just got shot.
Yes. Before then, you were holding your own, though. You were owning everybody on the server. So.
I wouldn't say I was owning everyone, just a couple people. But,
yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Tell me about Joint Ops now. Let's talk about the game. The first one was incredibly successful.
Yes, Joint Operations Typhoon Rising took place in Indonesia in the near future, 2006, and the expansion pack which just came out, Escalation, is the follow-up to that, and it's sort of the next step. The battle is escalated, so to the point of there's now tanks, there's now attack helicopters, there's many other vehicles and new weapons. Many also other accessories you can equip too.
Right. Now the focus with Escalation, though, it was more on ground combat, right, and keeping people close together. You wanted them to get to the action quicker?
We wanted to really, kind of emphasize the tanks. So you obviously can't have a tank in water. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the maps sort of lended itself more towards land-based battles, but we still do have water battles. So.
Very cool. Now, how about the maps in general, though? Are they smaller, similar size?
They're about the same size. We wanted to hit a wide variety. We wanted maps that could fit 150 players. But we also wanted some maps that weren't necessarily huge and sprawling. We wanted some that would appeal more to the CQB guys. So we took steps. We changed up the way we made missions, so the CQB guys could enjoy it just as much as the guys that enjoy the really long engagements.
Now, I want to point that out. 150 player games, and I thought Carmack was the be-all end-all of netcode, but you guys have really done something special with this game. How do you manage that amount of players on a server?
It's a lot of time and a lot of testing.
Yeah, it's incredibly impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Now let's get to your favorite part of the game, because we know there's new tanks, but there's also a special vehicle that you like, right?
Yes. And
there it is right there.
It's the dirt bike.
The dirt bike.
Or the motorcycle. It's a fairly fast, very fun vehicle to traipse across the battlefield with. And there's also a seat on the back, so you have a player on the back that rides with you. So we still are encompassing, just got shot off the bike. We are still encompassing teamwork, so we still have people on the back that can do things like launch grenades off the back. Or
you can do a GTA-style drive-by in the middle of the warfare.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And finally, the tanks now, they're multiple-person tanks, right? It's not just one person hops in and drives and goes. It's teamwork, right?
Correct. There's 3 different positions. There's the driver, there's the gunner, and there's also the commander. And the commander has the ability, has more battlefield awareness, so he can look around and pinpoint targets for the gunner. Hits spacebar, tells the gunner that he's got a target he wants him to fire at. The gunner turns around and acquires his target and fires.
Cool.
And the driver, of course, drives the vehicle.
Right. Now, finally, tell me what's coming up in the future from Novologic. Can we expect big things?
Coming up in the future, we've got Black Hawk Down for the Xbox, and
very nice.
It's we're doing some groundbreaking work on the multiplayer component. We're going to be pushing the numbers.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to it, and I know some chatters are going to be looking forward to these. Joel was kind enough to come on by with the Escalation T-shirt, so we'll be giving that out to some of our live callers and our chatters, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to keep this one for myself.
Go for it.
I look fantastic in blue. And now here's Sarah with info on our upcoming Celebrity PC Race for Charity. Joel, thank you.
That is right, Kevin. What if I told you that I could help you win a brand new fully loaded computer? It's true. It's true. And you can thank TigerDirect.com for donating the best parts available. Fastest processor, heftiest hard drive, best memory, a display that'll bring tears to your eyes, you get the idea. We've got 4 of these bad boys. We're going to be assembling the first 3 in our TigerDirect.com Celebrity Charity PC Race live on this show next Friday, December 10th. But the 4th is all for you to win. All you have to do is become a registered member of G4 Tech TV through our website, thescreensavers.com, and then enter our TigerDirect.com race to win a loaded PC. Go for it and win. Now, still ahead, our take on today's top tech news is coming your way. And Kevin's going to show you how to hide your data inside these interesting objects that you see every day when the Screensavers continues.
Everybody's furiously gaming away in our little LAN party. We're back, and it's time for a little thing we like to call the feed. Look at that there. Now, the beta of Microsoft's blogging experiment went live today. They call it MSN Spaces. Now, it's got a decent amount of features, but most of the templates make me want to gouge my eyes out with wooden spoons. Here's an example that we actually made. This is a real website, real template. It's called Pulse Orange, oddly enough, and it is disturbing at best.
That is the nastiest thing I've ever laid my eyes on. It's disgusting.
Kudos for launching a service, but like have a graphic designer spend 10 minutes with it.
It looks like the Windows interface, even like the old, like, you know what I mean, the Windows XP interface. It's just nasty.
Yeah,
You just don't know what to read at that point. There's so much crap.
Yeah, Microsoft's not earning any points for style, but still, it does have picture functions. It's got links to other blogs. You can syndicate your site, automatically. It's very cool. But right now they're getting tons. What's up?
Did you see the URL they put up on the screen? Can you guys put that back up again? Look at this URL, the long URL CG in the bottom. What you have to type in order to get to your friend's sites. What is it?
Spaces.msn.com/members/ and then their username.
Yeah, I really want to type all that in if you're giving your friends the URL. That sucks, man. That's terrible.
Hey, everybody, go to my blog at spaces.msn.com////.
Remember when they used to have tildes in them?
Yeah.
You'd be like,
They still
tilde, and
do.
they're like, what? And I'm like,
LiveJournal users still have the tilde.
Get rid of the tilde.
alive and well.
Anyway, the site is slammed right now, so good luck getting in. I tried to complete my blog, and it wouldn't even let me, so there you have it.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Tear.
But in other non-blogging news, the Kansas City Star is reporting that 35 violent video games were removed from a Missouri prison after prison officials were alerted that their content was very, very too violent by a reporter.
Yeah.
The actions themselves, really, they do make some sense. After all, do we really need a convicted felon spending time with the Hitman series?
Who'd have thought
Maybe.
a felon shouldn't be playing a game called Hitman? Maybe they said that they didn't monitor the games
Those
very closely.
killers!
But you think if a guard is bringing an Xbox title to somebody, you can look on the cover, see the bald guy with the gun.
I don't think it's that bad.
And the word Hitman. Mm-hmm. They should be playing like Mario Party. They shouldn't be like
But guys,
or your self-fitness.
Like
but
Yoshi's
they shouldn't
World.
be.
Dance Dance Revolution or something like that.
Let them DDR and
Some
Cell Block 9.
exercise.
You know.
There you go. But the best part, guys, of this story is a quote that comes from a Seattle University professor. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
You get people in a maximum security prison who have already gone over the line, and they're not afraid to engage in violence, unlike a nerd sitting in front of his computer.
Yes, unlike the nerd in front of his computer. Look,
Them fighting words.
I have seen many people shanked at arcades over DDR matches, so I don't think there's any foundation to that statement.
You've actually seen someone shanked.
I've been involved in a shanking or two.
Really?
I'm sorry I have to admit it, but it's true. It gets heated.
Kevin shanked
Especially
Herrera
on
here.
hyper mode. Whatever,
Yes.
it happens. And hey, you may have seen this blog post lately in the news. It's from the spouse of a programmer at EA who says, in a nutshell, that the working conditions at EA aren't all that hot. Things like long hours, time off, lost weekends, yada yada, so on and so forth. Well, EA has finally responded to the harsh criticism, and here's what their senior VP of Human Resources had to say. It's a long one. Get ready. As much as I don't like what's been said about our company and our industry, I recognize that at the heart of the matter is the core truth. The work is getting harder, the tasks are getting more complex, and the hours needed to accomplish them have become a burden. Well, there you go. It's kind of the long-winded equivalent of, oops, our bad.
I don't know if I completely agree with this one, though, because I've worked for some .coms with some programmers, and I know a lot of programmers, done a little bit myself, and I understand where they're coming from. I've been to EA Studios, and I know those guys, they work nonstop because their head's in the game, you know what I mean? They're
Absolutely.
in that code, they know what they're doing. Sometimes if they take that extra time off, they kind of forget where they have to pick up where they left off, and it's best for them just to crunch and crank it out.
Sure, but what about the compensation for that? You know, that's what this is all
Are
about.
they getting overtime?
They're not getting overtime.
Okay, never mind. That sucks then.
And the HR guy says
take that back.
Well, and his excuse for that was, well, look, you know, they're artists and they're skilled programmers, and the kind of work they do and the amenities that they get doesn't classify them to earn overtime under the state's laws.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm like, look, you can have all the full-time gyms you want and reflection ponds, you know, over at EALA.
I've seen the pond.
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
It's a nice pond.
It is,
Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have a paycheck.
Yeah.
I'd rather, you know, have money in the bank.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't read that far down the story, but that's
Just because they're an artist doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be treated like human beings when they're working. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's just that. I don't know. Being an artist myself, I find that very offensive. Yeah. So
I'm offended for you. Whoa, hey. We're going to get away from this before somebody gets hurt. We're going to check in with Kara, Kevin, and Sarah. Hey, you know,
Kara. It's like
We'll
the
just call them
combination.
Kara.
if you guys had a kid, you know, the genes
one
would work
unit.
Kara.
Rather than
That's
7.
right. Yes,
It's
let's
the
not discuss
two-headed
people.
duo, Kara.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so I've always stressed to everybody that we've always talked to about backing up your data. It's very important to do so.
Sure.
Personally, I have an external hard drive hooked up to my computer. This one here, the Maxtor One Touch, is awesome. Comes with a little retrospect software, backs up all your data with the push of a button. But not only that, it's important to back up your data, but it's also important to get it out of the house, you know, get it away from the computer.
So, like, if your house goes down in flames, let's just say, you've got your data somewhere.
Well, that's definitely true. I always recommend taking it to
worst
like,
case
a friend's
scenario.
house or a safety deposit box or something like
Sure.
that. But also, it's important to hide that data. I've had so many friends that have had their computers ripped off. You get a brand new fat Alienware machine, and the first thing when someone breaks into your house, they're like, that's a nice computer.
Your neighbors. That happened to your neighbors.
Yeah. And they get the complete
Everybody
machine is
took all
completely
the
ripped out.
stereo computers, all the expensive stuff.
It was kind of scary. I locked down my house after that. But basically, we've talked about backing up to CDs. CDs are cool, but the only problem with them is we've also heard of something called CD rot. And that's
Oh,
when
it just sounds bad.
you hate the word rot.
I did it.
That's when the
CD
CD's
rot.
like totally corrupt, and then like 3 years later, shield your eyes, like these things completely. No, okay, it's not gonna break.
Okay.
But some of them do. They completely just go, and you can't even read them. You put them in the drive, and no data comes up, and you're lost.
Which is the worst kind of drag in the world.
Yes.
Because here you are thinking that you're all covered your bases.
So I've moved on to these here. These are my favorite little data backup devices. Not only are they smaller, but they're solid state memory. These are a couple ones. Here's one from SanDisk. It's a 1 gigabyte. This is 1 gigabyte of storage on this drive right here.
Love it.
And for right around $100. This one right here is the PNY. I call it Pony. 256 megs, $35.
the
These-
attaché.
the attaché. These are nice and small, and they're easy to store.
Totally.
And so what I've done is I've kind of created some devices so that we can hide our data.
Okay, Kevin.
All right, let me show you. First thing, we have a shoe here. Now, you want to look for a shoe that has like a foam sole here because those are really easy to hollow out.
Okay.
And first thing you do is you open up the shoe. Buy these. You can get these at like Ross, Dress for Less, or some kind of discount store. You go inside here and you mark up the little area that you want to hollow out here. I'm just going to do a nice little thing here where
Gotcha.
there where you
Okay.
typically put a drive. And then you use something like a standard Dremel here. Go ahead and give this a try.
Just hollow it out.
Yeah, just go ahead and push down on the side there.
Ah! Oh my God.
Okay, that's not working too well. You got to hold it this way.
Sorry.
Anyway, we'll hold off on that. This is what it looks like when it's done.
Okay.
Let me pull one out here. You have a nice little space that you've hollowed out there at the bottom of the shoe, and then you can put the insert in on top of that, and you have it'll completely store your drive and hide it away, and no one will ever know that it's in there.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. Next thing, real quick, OXL, they make these nice little can openers. Now, these aren't your standard can openers. If you take a look here, when you open a can with a standard can opener, you could tell that it's been opened.
Sure.
But this one here, it goes along the outside, and it actually separates the glue from the seam there, so you have a nice little lid that it actually creates for there. Throw that in with your Campbell Soup or whatever in your closet.
Nobody would
in
know.
the back shelf there. No
The
one's
last
going to know.
place anybody would look.
Last place anyone would
Well,
look.
maybe not the last now, but
Yeah, yeah, actually, probably the first place they looked down. Last thing we have real quick here is take one of your really geeky books, something that no one would really want to steal. Here's a Cisco Remote Access Networking book.
keep it away from me. I don't want to look inside there.
I know you would never want to look inside here. Take your standard little your little knife here and slowly cut out the pages. You'll get a nice little. This is about an inch down that you can actually store stuff in here. Use some of this here. This is the important part because these pages will just kind of come apart. You got to use some of this spray adhesive. And you spray that right on top of the pages after you've cut it out, and then it makes one of those. I mean, you've seen these classic like little hidden book compartments.
Yeah.
You can make one without actually having to go out and spend any cash. Just use an old computer book.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go.
got
3 little simple ways to hide your data.
shoes, cans, books.
Yes.
All regular household items
That's
that
right.
now mean so much more.
No one will look them. There you go.
All right.
Now, stick around a little later. We're going to take a look at some bleeding-edge filmmaking with up-and-coming directors using cell phones to make their movies. And up next, we'll check in with the stars of the award-winning film Saints and Soldiers in our LAN party. It's all when we come back.
Hey, party people, welcome back to the show. I'm Chi Lan Liu, and coming up in this half hour, we'll bring you the action from this year's Cell Phone Film Festival. And we've got the scoop on a public art project called Yellow Arrow that combines graffiti with wireless devices. Ooh. And once again, it's our weekly Screensavers LAN party powered by NVIDIA. The game is Joint Operations Escalation, and today we have very special guests with us, the star of the indie World War II film, Saints and Soldiers. Let's say hi to Corbin Allred.
Hello.
We have Alex Niver.
Hi.
And we have Kirby Hayborn, all the way at the end. Alex and Kirby, and so all of you guys are the stars of Saints and Soldiers.
Yeah.
Corbin, can you tell me a little bit about the movie?
Yeah, it's based on actual events. It's a World War II film. It takes place towards the end of the war in Europe, around the time of the Battle of the Bulge, and it's basically about 5 guys that get trapped behind enemy lines, about 20 miles behind enemy lines in Belgium, and it's about their story of survival and trying to make it back and save the lives for their own lives and also the lives of many other Allied soldiers. So it's
Wow. Looks like a really
good
intense story.
It is. Very character-driven story. It's about these characters. I think when people see it, they'll be attached to one, at least, of us.
I'm kind of attached to all 3 of you guys right now. It looks like Thanks. It looks like it was really, really cold while you guys were shooting. Where were you guys shooting this movie?
It was Alpine and Sundance in Utah and anywhere else. Yeah, it was bitter cold.
Midway,
it was
bitter cold. It's 15. What? It's 15 below zero most
Probably
of the time.
with wind chill a lot of the time.
Yeah, it was
Thigh-high snow.
awful. And we were out there in vintage gear from World War II, which is all wool, about 9 layers of wool. Wool gets wet real fast. It
Never
was
gets
miserable.
dry.
We had it like they had it. Well, I mean, we had.
You guys have craft services.
People bring us pizza rolls and stuff. But
Eggs.
Hot chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
So maybe not like the soldiers, but
Not
very
quite.
close,
not
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Humbling,
Well,
though.
You guys look like you guys are really good friends. Did you guys know each other before the filming of the film?
No,
none of us
no,
did.
none of us
Really?
did.
Well, we've become good friends since. I mean, you're put in that situation that's similar to a war situation. Making a film, especially an independent film, is like a war. And you get close. The 5 of us are really close. I call these guys all the time. Huh.
That's cool. Well, how did you guys research for your roles? Did you guys play a lot of video games like Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, or did you guys watch a lot of films, do your research, reading books? How did you guys do
We
it?
had Medal of Honor in our trailer.
Yeah, we did.
Whenever we came back in from shooting. But
Just practice, the Medal of Honor frontline, the one that kills the Germans and stuff like that. So we practiced a bit. But we did, watched a lot of film, and it was cool. We had a few days prior to shooting that we kind of practiced. We had military advisors on set, some of the best in the world, some that worked with Spielberg and Saving Private Ryan and other movies, and these guys kind of told us this is the way they walk, this is the way they handle their weapons and stuff. So it was cool. But again, being an independent film, it's one of those things, you don't have a lot of money, so our basic training was filming. So it was,
that's awesome.
It was intense.
It must have been a great experience. Well, thanks. I'll let you guys get back to gaming. And everyone, make sure you find this film, go see it, and check it out. SaintsandSoldiers.com for the latest information. Okay, so here's Sarah with some info for all of you anime fans out there.
That's right. Okay, so you're into anime, and there are brand new episodes of the anime series Last Exile, premiering December 6th. At midnight Eastern, which is the best news you've heard all day, right? Especially since Last Exile features retro, futuristic action, adventure, flying cars, and above all, top-notch animation. Check out our Anime Unleashed page at g4techtv.com/animeunleashed for more info. And for those of you who simply must know in advance, exclusive trailers of upcoming episodes, too. Now, coming up after the break, we're going to take one of your live calls. And it ain't the big screen, but it's a start. Some up-and-coming filmmakers are getting a film festival, but this time, the screen is just a little bit smaller. We'll be right back with that.
Memories.
Yes, indeed.
I owned a 32X.
I went to Yahoo back then.
Did you?
Yeah, back in the day.
100,000 visitors. That's really not a. I mean, nowadays.
I wish I would have started working for Yahoo back then.
Yeah,
Be a multi-millionaire by
It
now.
doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm thank you for not slamming me for owning a 32X. By the way, I
Yeah,
was
it's
fully
fun,
prepared for that. It was was okay for the time.
I didn't play that back then.
Really?
Was it the Genesis?
Oh, yeah, it was a little add-on for the Genesis.
Yeah.
Virtual racing. It did polygons.
I had the
How about
Genesis.
that, right?
That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool for its time. Anyway, we're back. Sorry about that. We had to take a little trip down that wistful memory road. On the phone, we're joined with from someone. Who is it? Derek. Derek's on the phone from Watrous, Canada. Derek, are you there?
Hey, Derek.
Yes, I am.
How's it going, sir?
Pretty good.
Good. You have a question about the PlayStation 3?
Yes, which is real? Is it, like, I saw pictures of it, I was wondering, which is real, or are they all the same thing?
Where did you see the pictures at?
I just typed in PlayStation 3 on a Google search for images.
Okay. Was it like the first link or something?
It just showed pictures, and I saw one, it's silver, and...
Silver. I bet it's not the one
Is
I'm
it this
looking
one
at,
right
which
here
is...
with the 3 PlayStations stacked?
I'm doubting it's that one.
He might have been fooled.
People are
Probably.
easily swayed. You know what, Derek? A lot of times these, average 3D modelers will. I shouldn't even say average, but amateur 3D modelers will go and whip up their concepts of next generation consoles and then send them out to sites to try and get plugs to their own web pages and hype around themselves.
This is a huge thing in the Mac community. I'm sure you've seen
Mac
before the
rumors
G5s
are insane.
came out, and they had all these. I mean, because all the Mac guys are like graphic artists, or a lot of them, and they come up with these beautiful. Like, I was thinking, I'd love to have that Mac, and they never release it.
Well, the difference with the Mac guys is that their fake Photoshops or 3D renders could fool you.
Right.
They have Apple
have been
styling
fooled.
down. Yeah, I think we all have. But look at a photo like this, which looks like a gutted SNES spray painted black with a CD tray, and you go like,
That's pretty lame.
if you're gonna take the time to fake something, do a little research on what products look like.
Yeah.
Even their current PlayStation 2 isn't that ugly.
Well, they put like the Japanese font up there, so it's like more authentic that way, I guess.
Apparently.
I don't know.
It does say this is official, so it says it right there. Derek, thank you.
Don't believe it
for the
though,
call.
Derek.
Don't fall for it. We're going to head on over now to the lab with Chilon and Brendan for a scoop on this year's Cell Phone Film Festival.
Oh, we got a goodie here. Everyone just loves talking on their cell phones, and it's just a matter of time before we're actually watching The Bachelor or some other piece of crap television on the really small screen. Call it ahead of its time, but we think it's something, we're going to call it something special, a cell phone film fest.
A cell phone film fest. And when I first heard this, I thought of like the whole film crew and the director and like the actors and like the big lighting guys all standing around like one guy with his cell phone out and saying like action.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case.
No?
Take a look.
Oh.
I'm a commercial director. I direct television commercials.
Joe Miele is looking for exposure, and he's going to get it on a cell phone. He's entered this short in what's being called the world's first ever cell phone film fest.
The premise of the commercial is keeps you going, and it basically shows two boxers duking it out, knocking each other out, and reviving each other with the power drink, which in this case is Gatorade, and continuing to fight.
It's sponsored by Zoe Films, and it's accepting all kinds of shorts, like music videos, TV commercials, even short recurring soap operas.
You have to help me.
Tell me what happened.
I have to get married.
The Cell Phone Film Festival is it's a film festival that is being entirely transmitted over cell phones. So there won't be any theater viewings or any gatherings. It is entirely a mobile, virtual film festival.
Now, even though it's called a cell phone film fest, no one's actually shooting their short film with an actual cell phone. Maybe next year.
Instead, most of the entries are pretty simple.
My feeling is that short projects are going to be successful on the cell phone, whereas you're not going to want to watch a 20-minute, dramatic, character-driven story.
And although a film fest on your phone might still seem like a weird idea, it could be just the beginning.
Now the deadline to submit a film is still December 20th. It starts on Christmas Day. If you've got a Nokia, AT&T, or Sprint phone, just look for it in a couple weeks.
That's cool, but since it comes on your cell phone, does it cost anything to watch it?
It is absolutely free, and if you're interested and you still want to submit your film, we've got links on our website, screensavers.com, and of course, when it actually happens, we'll have more on the festival.
Yay. Well, thanks so much, Brendan. That was awesome. Now, coming up after the break, ever wanted to have a real-world blog? We'll show you how a little yellow arrow can give you just that when the Screensavers returns.
Hey, you be sure to catch tomorrow's show, okay? Kevin Rose We'll show you how to turn the cheap vodka into the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Plus, we'll talk with a group of girls who make playing games their profession. Ooh. And Godzilla's getting his very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's going to go right next to mine, actually. We'll bring you all the star-studded action on tomorrow's show.
Who knew Godzilla? I mean, such a legend.
Really. I mean, when you think Walk of Fame, you think giant green lizard.
Totally.
Right. Who doesn't?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sarah.
Yes.
I was in New York a while back.
That's fun.
Yes, and I actually had a chance to check out a very interesting public art project. Who doesn't like art?
I like art.
Do you?
Public art.
Especially when it's in public.
Especially when it's in public and in New York, sort of an art central type of place.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's user created, it's wirelessly interfaced, and it's responsible for that sticky residue that's been popping up all over town.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah, exactly. The site is yellowarrow.org, and it just happens to be the subject of our Toyota Tacoma road report.
Look at that. Let's see.
That was me driving.
Have you ever wondered how stuff like that ends up there, or wanted to know the backstory behind a broken window? Well, the information, believe it or not, is out there. You just got to pay attention to the little yellow arrow.
The yellow arrow is the most simple graphical symbol that you can pretty much have. It's super high contrast for urban space or for a cityscape, and simple design. And it is basically a tool to point out the things around you that are important to you, that you have a story about, that are personal, that are emotional, that are historical, or that are intriguing, or that you want to share with people. Some people have used it to point out their favorite deli or their favorite street corner, or where they wait for the subway in the morning. Some people have used it to point out more like personal things or communicate specifically to one person, but then other people get led into that communication. And other things have been more historical, or more like using it to point out things that are gone now, things that you can't see anymore, things that the city has kind of moved on, but it still exists in someone's mind.
I envisioned it as the most fundamental means of communication. In any language, to anyone at almost any level of education or understanding, consciousness, whatever, you place an arrow and then you text message that number plus your message, essentially, to point at yellowarrow.org. And then when someone experiences it, they type in the number and they get back your message. It's astonishing how much you can say and how much you can communicate in 160 characters.
So it works based on these codes, and each arrow has a unique code, just as each arrow points to a different and unique part of the physical world. And that just references metadata about that arrow in our database. You can interact with it through the simple text messaging. And there's already capacity on the site to add a picture to your arrow to annotate your entries with a map and photos, and that's going to all happen automatically from your phone.
Poor Pikachu was trapped up there, so I thought I'd point it out.
I was in Red Hook, Brooklyn, a while ago, and just sort of walking around and ended up finding what turned out to be, this sunken ship in the old harbor there, and thought it was such a fascinating thing to see that, and to, so put an arrow there pointing to that little historic moment and these few masts that you see coming out of the water.
If you go to the website, you can order arrows and have them shipped to you. I place tons. There's definitely competitions, and a lot of the people who are doing the yellow arrow are really prideful about how many they've placed and where they are at and how hard they're to get to and how many people have queried them and stuff like that. So there's subtle competitions going on, although it's a community thing.
In a lot of ways, the yellow arrow itself, the sticker, is sort of the tip of the iceberg for us. There are a variety of ideas around it that are really all about enhancing your experience of the world.
We really see the yellow arrow as a kind of hyperlink in the real world, where you have this very tangible sticker that you can use, and this whole ability to communicate with a larger group of people. And it's about taking sort of the power of that network and putting it onto the streets and associating it with things that are relevant to people.
Very, very creative.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Now, they're doing this in New York, but is this going on in any other city in the U.S. or worldwide?
It's actually internationally.
Cool.
Like, you can find them in Russia, in Australia, New Zealand, wherever you are, chances are there's a yellow arrow. And
I know the next time I'm in Moscow, I'm going to look for that arrow.
Yeah.
Where's the best restaurant?
It's worth a trip just to find them, really. In fact, what's even cooler is now they offer T-shirts on their website, so you can get a T-shirt with an arrow and a code, so you can text what the meaning of your shirt is, and if someone finds you on the street, they can get really creepy and up close and text message out to them and get it back.
I know who you are.
Exactly. Or, hey, let me look really closely at your shirt to get the ID so I can send it. Honestly. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Do you think your town needs a real-world hyperlink or two? Visit yellowarrow.org and send a request for some stickers. They're free.
We should participate.
They're free.
We
We
should
did.
start
We
doing
did. We've got one.
Ooh,
We've
we
got
do?
one on our own set.
All right.
We'll give out the number on our website.
That's fun. Good times. All right, are you going to be in Sin City anytime from January 6th through the 9th? If so, the Screensavers can get you into CES free, my friend. If you're fresh out from living under a rock, CES is the world's largest consumer electronics show, where you'll find every electronic component and device under the sun. To enter the contest, go to our website right now to win tickets to CES. You can't play, Kevin. No.
But I want to go to CES.
You work here.
Oh.
You must be a registered member of G4TechTV.com, but you can find all the official rules and regs on the site. So go there and get all the details. The winners are going to be notified this Friday, so good luck. We'll hopefully see you at CES. Now, stay where you are, because we're going to be reading some emails and bringing you the action from our IRC chat room. It's crazy in there. It's like out of control when the Screensavers continue.
And that's me going out of control.
And now everybody to the dance floor. The dance floor. Floor.
Next on Let us take a look at the high scores from each round on our LAN party today, powered by NVIDIA.
All right, what do we got there?
WCG Recon with 39.
Got some monkey feet in
Not
the
bad.
house.
Where's Joel?
Along with Fuzzy Monkey.
Where's Joel? I mean, if you're behind the game, you'd think you'd have a cheat or something to really just
It's like,
slaughter everybody.
we've got 6 slots and only 5 people made them.
Good job, you guys. Apparently,
Great work.
they had a lot of
Everybody was so
opposition.
bad, you didn't even get in the house.
Hey, congrats nonetheless to those 5.
No, it was good. Thanks
did
for
very
coming,
well.
guys. It was
Yes.
great.
And thanks to our guests from the Saints and Soldiers, and Joel Tobble from Nova Logic, even though he didn't make the high score list. We still love you, Joel. Nice try, buddy. And if you didn't get to play this week, go to our website right now and register for next Thursday.
Can be part of the action next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get to our emails, we want to remind you to keep sending us those anti-fan site pictures
Yeah.
because, you know, it's really given us a laugh around the office day in
Oh,
and day out.
I've been loving it. It's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, Kevin's pretty sorry he brought that up on Monday. If you don't know what we're talking about, head on over to our website to get the kit I made. You know, the one with Kevin Pereira and compromising position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Why did you do that to
What's the
yourself?
worst pick you've got so far?
You know, everybody. Of course, well, I don't want to say what everybody did. They did the obvious, unfortunately, which I was really hoping they get creative with it. But some people have, and somebody photoshopped me as a Gordon Freeman from Half-Life 2. I thought that was kind of flattering. I felt cool for one moment. It was a brief moment. Don't worry. It was quick.
You're still cool.
Why don't we answer an email? That would make me feel cool.
Okay. Oh, by the
that.
way, we're going to be showing our favorites on the Anti-Pereira, festival tomorrow on the show.
Oh
so.
yes, and we're going to rock out to the sounds of the band Planet Asia. So that's going to be very
they're
cool.
really good. The image that comes into my mind when I hear Planet Asia is not what they sound like. So, if that's not a
Okay.
promo, I don't know what is. Now, let's see. Do we want to go to some emails?
Yeah, let's do an email. We got time for one real quick. Sarah.
Okay. What kinds of beverages do you offer programmers?
Ah, that's a good one. You offer them Jolt, anything caffeinated,
Oh, I thought
anything
you were
with
asking
guarana.
us. Like, what do we offer programmers? I was thinking, like, I don't think we really.
Oh,
offer
no one really
things like
programs for us.
that. Right.
You know,
What kind of beverages? What do you think?
we offer them balls. That's the biggest thing. You give them a nice, good glass of balls. Fun to say. That's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Kevin Pereira.
And I'm Sarah Lane. Thanks for watching. We want to thank our guest, Matt Hoffman, too. See you next time. Have a great night.